It is said that the moon affects us all, some more than others. This is Moonscars. When I first saw Moonscars, I knew I had to check this out. This is a two-dimensional, side-scrolling action RPG. As you go through this story, you are trying to just find out what's happening. This follows the Dark Souls formula, where things are hard to kill, they have huge boss fights that are, again, very hard to kill, and when you're defeated, you respawn at your last rested at mirror. In this case, it's a mirror. The story is not very important to what you're doing in the gameplay. You're just kind of being told stuff as you go on, as you meet new characters, but it does a good enough job of being a framework with which to fit a lot of very intense action. A really interesting blend of a lot of being very aggressive, but also knowing your controls. That's kind of the name of the game here. You must use a bunch of different systems properly, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. There's the ability to heal yourself. That's very different than Dark Souls, but you have to do damage to the enemies to build up that mana bar, we'll call it. And with that mana bar, you can heal, or you can use different powers, different spells, so to speak, that you come across and learn. And that is kind of your foot in the door for the gameplay. As you progress, you level up your character, you can pick to do more damage with your regular attack, or have more of a mana pool. The kind of usual RPG elements are there. The combat is relentless. A lot of the time you're just kind of looking for that mirror, a save point, so that you don't waste all your progress, because when you die and reset, so does the entire world. All the enemies come back, except for major boss fights. But these major boss fights are very intense. Again, a lot of these combat cycles, you end up having to learn your enemy in the same way that you would Dark Souls, but I feel like it's a little bit more forgiving. It's a bit of a tough thing to wrap your head around, because there's certain weapons you can use, there's other spells, there's healing, there's a lot of different kind of movement you can do in the middle of your fight, and that it almost becomes a fault at a certain point, because some of these boss fights, some of these areas you get stuck in, you really do have to hit everything perfect. You have to use all of the tools at your disposal. Aside from the combat, the world design is very interesting. It's, well, first and foremost, beautiful, in my opinion. I really like the art kind of style behind this game. It's very dark, very dreary, but that makes sense thematically. While you're exploring the world, the one problem I had is that it's not always clear where to go. It's totally okay with me if you drop me into somewhere and I'm not being fed the directions. There's no waypoints, and that's totally good for me. But what happens is you get stuck in certain areas and there's really no obvious way of where to go. You kind of just have to poke around and explore the map in more of a flushed manner to find that one little passage out. Sometimes that's a good thing. I found in this game it's a little bit more aggressive than in others, and that put me off. There's a few times where I had to put the controller down and, you know, I'll attack this again with a fresh mind and new eyes tomorrow. There's a huge amount of mystery and a lot of action in this game. If it is something you're interested in, any of the Castlevania, Metroid-Vania kind of subgenre, I definitely recommend this game to you. I believe this one is a 7.5. It is exceptional in its subgenre, but it's very hard to approach as a newcomer, and that might push a lot of people away. For myself, though, this was a good hit.